Yes, there is a powerful Bible verse that directly shows Jesus' disciples continued to worship on the Sabbath even after his resurrection, completely dismantling the claim that the early church shifted to Sunday worship. The verse, Acts 13:42-44, KJV. And when the Jews were gone out of the synagogue, the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. Now when the congregation was broken up, many of the Jews and religious proselytes followed Paul and Barnabas, who, speaking to them, persuaded them to continue in the grace of God. And the next Sabbath day came almost the whole city together to hear the word of God. Why this verse shatters the Sunday argument. This takes place after the resurrection. Paul and Barnabas are preaching long after Christ has ascended. If the day had changed to Sunday, this would have been the perfect opportunity to shift worship. Paul preached to both Jews and Gentiles on the Sabbath, not Sunday. This shows that the Sabbath wasn't just a Jewish custom because Gentiles requested to hear more the next Sabbath. No mention of Sunday worship. If the early Christians had switched to Sunday, why didn't Paul tell the Gentiles to come the next day, Sunday? Instead, he honors the seventh-day Sabbath, not as a temporary Jewish tradition, but as a continued day of worship for all believers. Another supporting verse, Acts 17:2, KJV. And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the Scriptures. Paul's manner, his regular custom, was Sabbath observance, not Sunday gatherings. This was after Jesus' resurrection, while Paul was actively building the New Testament church. Challenge to skeptics: if the resurrection changed the day of worship to Sunday, then why did Paul and Barnabas keep preaching on Sabbath? Why did Gentiles, not just Jews, gather on the Sabbath? Why does the book of Acts record no single command or example of regular Sunday worship? 7-part video series, The Sunday Worship Deception, 20 Lies That Deny God's Sabbath. Episode. Titles. Episode 1. Jesus is my Sabbath, the lie that replaced God's command. Argument. We don't need the seventh-day Sabbath because Jesus is our rest. Refuted with Hebrews chapter 4, Genesis chapter 2, and the literal command of Exodus 20. Episode 2. The Resurrection Excuse. Did Christ authorize Sunday worship? Argument. Jesus rose on Sunday, so Christians should worship then. Refuted with proof from Acts and no biblical authorization for change. Episode 3. Paul's example, the Sabbath after the resurrection. Argument. Paul taught Sunday worship. Refuted using Acts 13, 17 and 18, showing Paul worshipped on Sabbath. Episode 4. Was the law nailed to the cross? The big misunderstanding. Argument. The law was nailed to the cross, so Sabbath doesn't apply. Refuted with Colossians 2 and distinction between ceremonial and moral laws. Episode 5. We're not under the law, misusing grace to break God's command. Argument. We're under grace, not the law. Refuted using Romans 6:15 and Matthew 5:17-19. Episode 6. The Lord's Day? Who gave Sunday that name? Argument. Sunday is the Lord's Day. Refuted using Revelation 1:10, Mark 2:28, Isaiah 58:13. Episode 7. Final warning: Sunday worship in the mark of the beast system. Argument. It doesn't matter which day we worship. Refuted using Revelation 13 and 14, showing Sunday as a man-made mark of authority.